He walked across the wind-blown ice of the glacier known as Cold Rin, its frozen surface not causing him the slightest discomfort, not even in his feet, though he wore open-toed sandals. He was Badden, Ancient Badden, leader of the Samhaists, who knew the magic of the world more intimately than any others in the world. Badden was the greatest of them. No creature alive was more connected to those magics than this man. So while he stood upon hundreds of feet of solid ice, he felt, too, the earth below that freeze where the hot springs ran. Those very springs had led him to this place, and as he neared the edge of the glacier, the wide expanse of Alpinadoran opening before him, the old Samhaist trembled with excitement. He knew. He knew before he glanced down from the edge of the glacier that he had found it. Mithranidun, the steamy lake of legend, the place where the god Samhain forsook his mortal coil and melted down into the firmament, the source of all magic, the guardian of eternity. Samhain's servant was death, men like Badden believed, who would bring the souls to the harsh judgment of the god who suffered no fool. It was a clear morning. When Badden looked down, his breath fell away from him, and many heartbeats passed before he could catch it once more. Below him was a fog-shrouded, huge, warm lake, perhaps 20 miles long and half that wide. Mithranidun. The old man smiled at the rarely seen sight. He had found the holiest of Samhaist places and the source of his greatest magic, just as his war with the Abelicans in Vanguard to the south had begun to ignite. "Dame Gwydra," he mouthed, referring to the leader of the men of Vanguard. "You chose poorly in taking an Abelican as your lover." He ended with a chuckle, and no aged wheeze could be detected in the voice of the strong man, however many decades had passed since his birth. Most who knew him, or knew of him, for few actually knew Badden in any real way, believed that 8 full decades and part of the 9th were behind him. Ancient Badden slowly turned about to survey the area. He could feel Mithranidun's strength keenly now that he had confirmed the location. Mithranidun had beaten the glacier, and her power permeated the standing ice. He could feel it in his feet. This place would serve, he thought, continuing his scan. Up here on the glacier he had easy access to the low mountain passes that would get him to the roads leading south into Vanguard. The vantage also afforded him solid defense against any advancing armies, though he recognized that no hostile army would ever get anywhere near to him. Not here. Not with Mithranidun feeding him her power. "Mithranidun," the old man said with great reverence, as if merely glimpsing the place from afar was enough to validate his entire existence, his 60 years as a Samhaist priest. But it wasn't enough, he realized suddenly, and he looked up to the heavens. "You there!" he said loudly, lifting his hand toward a distant circling crow. The bird heard him and could not ignore the call. Immediately it turned and swooped, speeding down, upturning its wings at the last moment to light gently on Ancient Badden's outstretched hand. "I would see below the mists," the old Samhaist whispered to the bird. Badden stroked his hand over the crow's face and closed his own eyes. "To the scar Samhain rent in the earth."